So I was going to offer a response to this video. Is opposing gay marriage just as bad as supporting slavery? Where the question is posed to author Rebecca McLaughlin. Unfortunately, I got tripped up 39 seconds into the question and answer when she just began to provide her answer. And so I'm going to just focus on the first 39 seconds of this video, play that clip, and then I'm going to offer a reply.
Hey, Rebecca, this is a good question I have for you here. It says Christians at one point used the Bible to justify slavery. How is that different from Christians today who invoke the Bible to justify opposition to gay marriage?
It's an extremely important question. There are multiple reasons to start with why it's actually impossible to justify the kind of race-based chattel slavery that we saw in this country and that was exported by my country from the Bible.
Yeah.
So to start with, the Bible specifically condemns the practice of kidnapping people to make them slaves.
Okay, that's where I had to stop. She claims the Bible explicitly condemns the practice of kidnapping people to make them slaves. One of the first texts that immediately came to mind is Numbers 31. I'm just going to read a few choice excerpts. So Moses said to the people, "Arm some of your men to go to war against the Midianites, so that they may carry out the Lord's vengeance on them." The Israelites captured the Midianite women and children and took all the Midianite herds, flocks, and goods as plunder. Moses was angry with the officers of the army. "Have you allowed all the women to live?" he asked them. They were the ones who followed Balaam's advice and enticed the Israelites to be unfaithful to the Lord in the Peor incident, so that a plague struck the Lord's people. Now, kill all the boys and kill every woman who has slept with a man, but save for yourselves every girl who has never slept with a man. Plunder remaining from the spoils that the soldiers took was 675,000 sheep, 72,000 cattle, 61,000 donkeys, and 32,000 women who had never slept with a man. Women or girls who had never slept with a man. That's among the plunder, the women and girls that were forcibly taken. What is being described here, as I've noted several times in the past, is really very much equivalent to 10 years ago or so when Boko Haram, which is a militant Muslim group, was invading tribes, Christian tribes in Nigeria, and plundering the villages, killing the civilians, and taking the girls for their men, for their soldiers. Something very similar is happening here. If you're going to say, well, he's not making them slaves, he's making them wives, I'm simply going to point out this is you're kidnapping. You're kidnapping these females who were just traumatized, who have not consented to being married off to Israelite soldiers who just slaughtered their family. And this is just the first text that came to mind from the Bible. When somebody like McLaughlin speaks in this very flippant way, just saying there is simply no basis on which one could find a precedent to justify or rationalize the institution of slavery or of kidnapping, human trafficking from the Bible, you're just not reading close enough, or you're engaging in a very selective, biased reading approach, which is very common among conservative evangelicals. Although, in fairness, everybody reads the Bible in accord with their presuppositions, and we're all in danger of finding in the Bible what we want to see. But this is a case where it's particularly, I think, egregious to claim at the outset that there is simply no basis that Christians of the past could have rationalized or justified within their own minds slavery based upon biblical texts like Numbers 31 or kidnapping and human trafficking. Now, why does this matter? Well, for one thing, what you then begin to do is you say, okay, I have now to decide whether it is appropriate ever to invade another area and slaughter all the men, all the non-virgin females, and all the boys and children, infants, and only take the virgin girls and then forcibly marry them off to an army. Is that ever okay? If you don't think that is morally justifiable today, and you're not a moral relativist, you're a moral absolutist, you believe such a thing is always wrong, then it would follow that it was wrong in Numbers 31. And if it's wrong in Numbers 31, then that follows that there are errant moral perspectives being represented in the biblical text. And if there are errant moral perspectives with respect to slavery, perhaps there are errant moral perspectives with respect to other matters such as same-sex relationships. This is simply a matter of being open to the moral complexity and difficulties of the biblical text and recognizing how different Christians can reasonably come to different conclusions as they grapple with that morally problematic text.